Okay. I am Grand Marshal Aaron Beadle, and I would like to call to order the Doctor of Pharmacy hooding ceremony of the State University of New York at Binghamton. Everyone please rise as you are able. We welcome you to join vocalist Rhea Bolander in the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose but stripes and bright stars for the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Everyone, please be seated.
Good morning, everybody. As the Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the School of Pharmacy Pharmaceutical Sciences ceremony of the class of 2024. So before we proceed with the ceremony, I would like to welcome a member of the Binghamton University Council who is joining us today, Nora Manasheri, student representative. I would also like to introduce our other special guests who sit with us on the stage this morning. They will stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. President Harvey Stenger, Donald Hall, Provost, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Aaron Beadle, Grand Marshal, Associate Professor, Chair Pharmaceutical Sciences, Chair Faculty Senate, Tracy Brooks, Associate Professor, Vice Chair Pharmaceutical Sciences, Leon Kostler, Associate Professor, Pharmacy Practice, Greg Delvisio, Vice President of Communications and Marketing, Sheila Doyle, Executive Director, Binghamton University Foundation, Courtney Ignari, Chair, Professional Staff Senate, Rachel Klasko, Clinical Assistant Professor, Pharmacy Practice, Kenneth McCall, Co-Chair, Clinical Professor, Pharmacy Practice, Pamela Mission, Platform Party Marshal, Professor, Environmental Studies, Chief Sustainability Officer, Brian Rose, Vice President for Student Affairs, Erin Pauling, Assistant Dean, Academic Affairs, Clinical Associate Professor, Pharmacy Practice, Femi Papula, PharmD Class of 2021 Alumni, Paul Puccio, Student Speaker, Michelle Schwartz, Keynote Speaker, Cara Tredel, Alumni Association President. Please join me in applauding these special guests. Will all faculty on the stage and in the audience please raise as you are able? I would like to recognize all of the esteemed faculty members who have mentored, guided our graduates. Your efforts have been crucial to the intellectual growth and achievement we celebrate today. We would also like to acknowledge the efforts of our staff, many of whom are here today volunteering at this ceremony. Please join me as we applaud their support of, dedication to, and the success of our students. I would also like to thank our vocalist, Ria Bolander, our pianist, John Eisenberg, and the Broome County Celtic Pipe and Dreams for their participation in today's celebration. It is truly an honor to welcome our graduates, friends, and families to the 2024 School of Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Sciences Commencement. I will begin by officially congratulating the class of 2024. Congratulations. There are many reasons to congratulate you, our Doctor of Pharmacy, and our Master of Pharmaceutical Sciences students. You have accomplished a great deal in a short period of time. You have shown fantastic resilience as you adapted to changes in the delivery of instruction and changes at clinical rotations. You grasped the many ways technology is used for skills education, research, capstone projects, but you also learned the value of communication with your faculty, fellow students, and more importantly, in real life with the preceptors. You have embraced all that we have asked of you, even during the pandemic, when the challenges it has posed made everything more difficult, both inside and outside our classrooms and in the laboratories. I believe I can speak for all of us here when I say we are incredibly proud of every one of you. You have learned to be leaders through your participation in our student organizations, through your advocacy for the pharmacy profession, and through your experiences in skills and other competitions. You have also shown that you are willing and able to respond to help others while balancing your coursework and rotations. You are truly ready to play a critical role in healthcare teams working to improve patient outcomes. I am particularly proud of this cohort's achievements. Your class has the highest number of residencies, 25 and counting, and fellowship placements, 10 and more, of any graduating class. You also have largest number of capstone research poster presentations, both at ASHP and NISHIP meetings. Some of you have even won prestigious national, regional, and university level awards for your training and research excellence. It is remarkable that your cohort has published a significant number of peer-reviewed papers. Your hard work has paid off. Now you are prepared to change the face of the profession of pharmacy, whether at local, state, at national level. You may choose a career in community or hospital pharmacy, direct patient care, or pharmaceutical industry or drug discovery. But no matter your path, you are prepared and capable of practicing at the top of your license. The future of pharmacy and the role of pharmacists in healthcare are rapidly evolving. Your success depends on your ability to adapt to these changes. I see the majority of PharmD graduates as the next generation primary care providers, helping patients. Likewise, and all the master's students in pharmaceutical science, also leaders in shaping the future of drug development. I speak on behalf of all the faculty and staff at the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences when I say, I am so proud of you and what you have accomplished. Congratulations, class of 2024. It is now my great pleasure to introduce President Harvey Stenger.
Thank you, Raju. Good morning, and congratulations to the class of 2024. We are here, and we're joined by your friends, family, staff, and faculty to celebrate and recognize your great achievements. You don the traditional garb that sets you apart from scholars and scientists. The gown and hood that signal the wearer has achieved mastery of their subject matter and has produced new knowledge in your field. I want to extend my sincere thanks and gratitude to the friends and family who are here today or are here with us in spirit. Your endless support and guidance has meant the world to these students. We celebrate you today alongside the graduates. Thank you. I also want to thank the administration of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences for their vision and commitment to the work that its faculty, students, staff do every day. The school's faculty and preceptors are so important to our graduates as mentors and as friends. Please join me in applauding the faculty, staff, and preceptors who have so ably prepared and supported our graduates. Through their training and support, you are ready to be leaders in roles throughout the pharmaceutical industry. The School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences is a relatively new part of Binghamton University. In fact, you're part of the 4th graduating class of PharmDs and the 2nd class of master's recipients the school has produced. In that way, you are pioneers. What you do next is important in that you've paved the way for the many generations of students who are going to follow in your footsteps. So today, as we recognize the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences class of 2024, know that I am incredibly proud of all that you have accomplished. I look forward to learning of your many future successes. Congratulations again. I'd now like to introduce our Provost, Donald Hall.
Good morning, everyone. Before I recognize our graduates, I first want to recognize one of Binghamton University's new distinguished professors, the highest rank that is given by the State University of New York system for his incredible work in pharmaceutical sciences, and that is Dean Raju. So please join me in applauding. It is my pleasure today to be among those celebrating with you as Provost of Binghamton University. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate all of our graduates and their families and friends who have supported them throughout their time here on the many achievements we are recognizing today. You are truly remarkable students who've brought your intellectual curiosity, work ethic, and sense of humor to bear throughout your time here. As you graduate from Binghamton, you will take with you what you've learned in your classes, laboratories, participation in student organizations, and through the thousands of personal interactions you've had with those around you. You will take all of that, what you've experienced here, and become change makers in the ever-evolving field of pharmacy. As you know, we're living in a very different world post-pandemic. But your Binghamton education and experiences, I know, will serve you well, whether you're choosing to work in a community or hospital setting or elsewhere in the pharmaceutical industry. Your newly minted master's and doctors of pharmacy degrees, with those you will be leaving us with a strong foundation in your discipline. You've honed your critical thinking, decision-making, and communication skills, and you've completed rigorous clinical rotations and a capstone research project that will give you an edge as you pursue your pharmacy career. As you've prepared throughout your time here to tackle what is ahead of you, the next decisions you might find yourself facing are, what do I want my work life to look like? How will I maintain my work-life balance? My advice to you is to pursue the career path that gives you the greatest pleasure and joy. As a community pharmacist, with a pharmaceutical company, or with a healthcare agency, the career paths available to you are many. Make your decisions the best ones possible given the choices before you, but as you make your way forward, remember to define your value to prospective employers. Show them that you know how to solve problems, that you know how to play well with others as team members, that you have learned to be a leader at Binghamton, and that you're a great communicator. These skills will serve you well in whatever endeavors you undertake. So thank you for choosing Binghamton. It has been a pleasure to have you as our students. Congratulations on your many accomplishments, and please stay in touch with us and keep us informed about your many accomplishments in the futures. At this time, I would like to invite Rachel Klosko to the podium. Thank you all.
Thank you, Provost Hall. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Michelle J. Schwartz. Michelle is a dedicated professional with a diverse background in clinical healthcare and business. She obtained her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Binghamton University in 1976 and went on to earn a Master of Public Health and Public Policy from University of California at Berkeley. With a strong foundation in clinical nurse management and critical care, she has also leveraged her expertise to teach and consult in clinical ethics, emphasizing the importance of patient-centered decision-making in healthcare settings. Beyond her clinical work, she has shown a keen interest in innovation in medical technology and startup ventures, demonstrating a passion for driving positive change in the healthcare industry through multidisciplinary approach. In 2022, Michelle established the Michelle J. Schwartz Trust Program Support Fund, which allows students, faculty, and community members the opportunity to become healthcare professionals dedicated to caring for our rural, underserved patient populations through interprofessional teamwork. Michelle is also a current member of the Dean's Advisory Council for the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences and the chair of the Goldman School of Public Policy at Berkeley. She carries forward commitment to healthcare by chairing the board of the Jordan River Village, a camp for seriously ill children. Please help me welcome to the podium Michelle Schwartz.
Family, friends, and honored guests, welcome to Binghamton University. Graduates of the class of 2024, you are tough. You've survived graduate school, a worldwide pandemic, COVID-19, and how many Binghamton winters? Congratulations. Take a moment to soak in the significance of your incredible achievement, seriously. I'm going to talk about three things today: about the world that will both challenge and thrill you, about my perspective and experiences as I've walked through healthcare over the last 50 years, I'm that old, yes, and about your extraordinary future and the secret to happiness. As you cross the stage today, you join the ranks of an esteemed profession, one that has the power to transform lives. Pharmacists now serve as essential members of multidisciplinary teams that deliver comprehensive patient-centered care, engage in drug discovery, and formulate policies that will affect healthcare far into the future. Going forward, you will confront remarkable opportunities and great challenges. As we know, the cost of prescription drugs continues to rise in the US, making people have impossible choices between buying medications and buying food. Inefficiencies and waste cost the US several $billion a year. As the population ages, polypharmacy has become a serious condition. This is where you have older patients seeing various doctors and providers, each prescribing medications, and frequently there's no one managing the overall medication regimen. Industrial policy today dictates medications coming to market based foremost on profit. Existing drugs are purchased, rebranded, and several times their costs are increased to the consumer. We can do better. We must do better than that. Know that your pharmacy degree equips you with the expertise, the critical thinking skills, and the ethical foundation to shape the future of medicine on a grand scale. Your training in entrepreneurism and innovation will play a critical role preparing you to address the rapid growth in biomedical and pharmaceutical startup companies, to consult and advise venture capitalists, law firms, financial service industry, and policymakers in this country. Data science and AI will multiply the power of your research, allowing interdisciplinary teams of scientists to identify disease-specific targets, small molecules, and antibodies that can be quickly designed and tested. New biomarkers and smart design of clinical trials will de-risk drug development, reducing costs and dramatically reducing time to market. Pharmacists have demonstrated their critical importance to our society, as we witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic. When vaccines were urgently needed, it was pharmacists leveraging their expertise to administer and develop cutting-edge RNA vaccines. Last year, our own Dean Raju and Associate Dean Eric Hoffman received FDA approval for developing vamorolone, a groundbreaking medication for Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, a devastating neurological disease affecting primarily young boys. These past few years have presented you with unprecedented challenges. As you pursued your pharmacy education, you were forced to confront a global pandemic. You endured disruption of inpatient learning, the isolation of remote learning, and the pervasive illness of friends and family, the anxiety of an uncertain future. Your resilience and your flexibility and your unwavering commitment to the profession have molded you into the exceptional pharmacists you are today. You have not merely survived these trying times, you have thrived, emerging stronger, wiser, and better prepared to tackle the challenges that lie ahead. That fortitude will serve you well in the years to come as you continue to be called upon to be leaders, innovators, and trusted healthcare providers in your communities. I graduated from the Decker School in the virtual Stone Age, when the old building was new, genetics were Mendelian, and human genome mapping was futuristic and aspirational. The first artificial heart had been implanted, and coronary bypass surgery had just transformed the treatment of heart disease. There were no statins, no retractable needles, no portable insulin pumps, electronic medical records, or computational computing. The mettle of my generation was tested by the novel HIV virus. Of course, in that moment, we had no idea of what was about to unfold as a pandemic. I can tell you they were uncertain and harrowing times in the hospitals. I was in charge of a critical care unit in an inner-city San Francisco hospital as we on the front lines watched our colleagues and patients succumb to the numerous manifestations of AIDS. We worked in close proximity to our patients without protective gear, since we had no idea that what we were dealing with was an infectious agent. We did not know the source of infection or modes of transmission. In the ICU, I had staff members with Kaposi sarcoma lesions, and we scrambled to discern whether they could continue to work at the bedside, at the desk, or not at all. One of my staff was one of the first to die in the city. Young gay men were dying all over the world, and the system turned their backs on them as a disenfranchised population. It took the work of community activists and medical activists to confront indifference and challenge the government and medical establishment to deal with this worldwide pandemic. I tell you this because your experience with COVID will leave an indelible mark on you going forward. You will forever be more diligent, more observant, and more prepared for the possibility of the next pandemic, which I fully expect to see in my lifetime. It will also keep front of mind the disenfranchised populations that are invisible every day, especially in times of crisis. While in the ICU, I witnessed extraordinary innovative treatments and also much suffering as we tried to define the limits of care, cure, and harm. This led me to partner with the Chief of Medicine to form one of the first clinical ethics committees in San Francisco. I had the privilege of attending the Kennedy Institute at Georgetown to study with the pillars of the movement in the early 80s. The dilemmas we confronted are largely unchanged today as we continue to try to deliver humane care under incredibly difficult conditions. In 1978, I was on a team beta testing an early electronic medical record system with light pens and huge CRTs. Look it up online, unbelievable. In the 80s, major changes to reimbursement in the insurance system led me back to graduate school as my interest turned to social justice and resource allocation. I graduated with health policy and public health degrees from the University of California, Berkeley. I was also volunteered with the California Health Decisions in Sacramento as we took on some of the first discussions about death with dignity and palliative care. Today I have the privilege to speak with you, and I tell you all this about my path because I had a wondrous career doing the most unexpected things that have enriched my life. As you embark on this next chapter of your lives, I advise you to consider not just the care you give to the patients, but the care you give to yourselves. Commitments to work, family, and community will be great. The pharmacy profession is rewarding, but it can be incredibly demanding, both physically and emotionally. In the coming years, you will be tasked with making critical decisions, managing complex medication regimens, and advocating for the well-being of the people who put their trust in your hands. You will find yourselves in positions with state-of-the-art labs, constrained resources, and administrative burdens. It is easy for the pressures of such positions and responsibilities to become all-consuming. Take time for self-reflection, rest and rejuvenation, for pursuing the passions and relationships that bring you joy. This is your moment to redefine the very boundaries of your profession and professional practice. The rural communities of the Southern Tier and upstate New York provide a unique experience for you to provide much-needed care and to leave an indelible mark on the lives you touch. Graduates, be bold, be courageous, and find what you love. It is on that path that you will make your greatest impact and the fulfillment that comes from leaving your mark on the world. Go Bearcats.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for your remarks. I would now like to introduce our Alumni Association President, Cara Tridal. Cara would like to share congratulations on behalf of our Alumni Association.
Congratulations to you, Binghamton's class of 2024. It is truly an honor to be here sharing this occasion with you as the president of your Alumni Association. It's hard to believe that just 8 years ago, I was sitting where you are, feeling the exact same emotions as you. I was excited to begin my next phase, but also sad to be leaving friends and a place that became second home to me. It was also overwhelming to think about the many adjustments I'd have to make in moving from campus life to being out in the world, including moving back in with mom and dad. Our alumni community has been a tremendous source of support for me. It's why I've continued to be engaged with the university and why I encourage everyone else to be involved. I acknowledge that I'm standing before you quite young, and I have to be honest that when I was elected to become the president of the Alumni Association, I was nervous. I was nervous about leading a group filled with so many achievements and accolades while I was still growing into my own self. What I quickly found was that I had no reason to be nervous. I was, and continue to be, surrounded by a community that provides endless support, encourages success, and celebrates wins. By graduating today, you are automatically a member of this community, the Alumni Association. Inside your diploma cover, you'll find a card that talks about what is available to you. In addition to the friends you made here on campus, you have a worldwide network of alumni that you can now tap into. More than 150,000 people across more than 100 countries. Wherever you go, there is likely to be a Binghamton grad who can offer support, answer questions, or simply chat about their shared Binghamton experiences. What I will say is don't be shy about reaching out. I know I'm typically not. In addition, there are many opportunities to stay connected with the university, and you don't need to be here on campus. The Alumni Association connects you with other Binghamton alumni, helps to build skills that can translate to your professional life, and overall expand your network. We are a resource that I encourage you to take advantage of, even if it's simply connecting with us on LinkedIn or popping by our tailgate tent at homecoming. Enjoy today with your family and friends. Experience all the feels, and know that you're ready for whatever life brings you. You're a Bearcat, you could do this. Again, congratulations, your Alumni Association is excited to have you.
Thank you, Kara. Let me add my heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you, the graduating class of 2024. I am honored to be able to share this very special day with each of you, your family, and friends. At this time, I have the privilege of introducing our student speaker, Paul Puccio. There are two attributes that stand out when describing Paul. They are hardworking and leadership. Paul has been continuously gainfully employed since high school. Wherever he was, through each academic program, including our rigorous pharmacy program, Paul has always been able to jug employment with his academics, excelling at both. His time management and organizational skills are nothing short of extraordinary. Paul is a natural-born leader. Paul became the president of a brand new student organization, Pharmacists Against Infectious Disease, and the president of Phi Lambda Sigma, the Pharmacy Leadership Society, alongside his activity in student government and other student and community activities. As chapter advisor for the Pharmacy Leadership Society, I had the privilege of working closely with Paul for almost 2 years. Paul always brings light, cheerful humor, and positive energy wherever he goes, sometimes even in a costume. Paul's academic achievements are similarly laudable. Paul received an academic scholarship each year of our program and was inducted into the Rho Chi Honor Society in 2022. Paul completed his capstone research project and has edited a textbook chapter on lower respiratory infections in a leading pharmacotherapy textbook. The fruits of Paul's labor have paid off. In July, Paul will begin his PGY1 pharmacy residency at UHS hospitals here in town adjacent to our health sciences campus. He also will continue his participation with the Pharmacy Leadership Society at the national and regional levels. We look forward to that bright, cheerful humor and that positive energy advancing the profession of pharmacy locally and nationally. Please join me in welcoming your class of 2024 graduate student speaker, Paul Puccio.
Thank you, Dr. Kosler. It's been a pleasure working with you these past 2 years, and I wish you nothing but the best. Good morning, President Stanger, Provost Hall, esteemed faculty and staff, pharmacy preceptors, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2024. I am humbled and honored to be standing here today, representing the class of 2024 at Binghamton University School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences' 4th commencement. I cannot believe how fast time has gone. Our class is a tight-knit unit with a lot of care and competition. 6 graduates attained fellowship. 26 graduates matched with the residency. And many more graduates have jobs already lined up for them. Four years ago, we were in the same room reciting the pharmacist's oath as we donned our white coats. We had no idea what the future had in store for us. In our first year of pharmacy school, our class was divided into 3 rooms with desks separated and masks required. These were not the best conditions for forming friendships. At first, I thought our class would not have a strong bond like those before us, and that COVID-19 would keep us separated as it ravaged the world around us. However, instead of COVID-19 and Zoom breaking us apart, it brought us closer together. Our class made jokes, answered questions, formed friendships, and even asked professors for their zodiac signs. We were, and still are, a crazy group of individuals. Many people see pharmacists as pill counters and vaccine administrators. Although these are part of a pharmacist's job, we are so much more. As pharmacists, we are an indispensable member of the healthcare team, playing a crucial role in ensuring the safe and effective use of medications. Our expertise in pharmacology, medication management, and patient care makes us an invaluable resource for patients and healthcare providers alike. So remember, class of 2024, take your time verifying orders and working with patients, because an average day to you could be the worst day for your patients. After today, your chapters as students will finally close, as you embark on your next journey in life. Wherever it may take you, never forget where you came from, your journey to the top, and those you met along the way. You will often hear quotes, "Life is a journey, not a destination," or "Wisdom comes with age." During my short time here on earth, I have overcome many obstacles, laughed and loved, fought, and have been heartbroken. And yet, I still stand here today. The best part is that every one of us has gone through something similar. Of the wisdom I've gained over the years, I would like to share 3 of them. First, be disciplined. My motto is discipline equals freedom. Being disciplined is showing a strong sense of control and dedication toward your objectives. It enables you to overcome obstacles, persist through challenges, and consistently strive for improvement. This is not something that can be taught, but comes from within and can only start with you. Second, be humble. Demonstrate a genuine lack of arrogance and pride. Prioritize serving others and contribute to the greater good rather than seeking personal glory. Humility will shine through your actions, words, and demeanor, making you approachable, respectful, and admirable to those around you. Finally, if all else fails and you fall, land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Think about those you love and care about, and if you can't do it for yourself, do it for them. There were many days when I wanted to give up. I especially think about those that I've lost along the way. Nana and Poppy, Grandpa, and my cats Tiger Lily and Buffy. There's not a day that goes by where I don't think about them, and when I do, I have the strength to move mountains and swim across oceans. There will be 3 kinds of people who will enter your life: those for a reason, those for a season, and those for a lifetime. Each of these people are here to teach you a valuable lesson and bring you closer to your goals. Do not forget to thank those that have helped you along the way. To the faculty and staff, thank you. You have created a school that has shaped the next generation of pharmacists. Our foundational knowledge comes from those who came before us to ensure we have what it takes to excel at our profession. To the preceptors, thank you. Each of you has helped prepare each pharmacy student to transition into their future profession. Your time and dedication have further contributed to the life of our profession. To my mother and father, I love you both, and I hope I've made you proud over these past few years. A part of my success is the hard work and dedication you both have instilled in me. To my brother and sister, Justine and Nicholas, you're both a pain in my butt. But I love you both, and I hope I've been a role model for each of you to conquer your fears and explore the unknown. To my family friends, John, Dylan, AJ, and Will, each of you have been with me since the start of my career 8 years ago. You've taught me the value of friendship and how to have fun through stressful times. I could not have asked for a better group of family friends. And of course, to the class of 2024, each of you has had varying impacts on my life, helping me think and grow into the person I am today. I hope each of you continue to grow and help each other and others in the need of your expertise. Before I close this speech today, I would like to read a poem I came across when I was a sophomore in high school. This poem speaks volumes and is something I try to live by each and every day of my life. The poem is called Meditation and was written by Chief Tecumseh, who was a Shawnee warrior and leader who fought in the War of 1812 and sought to unite all Native American tribes. So live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Trouble no one about their religion, respect others in their views, and demand that they respect yours. Love your life, perfect your life, beautify all things in your life. Seek to make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people. Prepare a noble death song for the day when you go over the Great Divide. Always give a word or a sign of salute when meeting or passing a friend, even a stranger when in a lonely place. Show respect to all people and grovel to none. When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the food and for the joy of living. If you see no reason for giving thanks, the fault lies only in yourself. Abuse no one and no thing, for abuse will turn the wise ones to fools and robs the spirit of its vision. When it comes your time to die, Be not like those whose hearts are filled with the fear of death, so that when their time comes, they weep and pray for a little more time to live their lives over again in a different way. So sing your death song and die like a hero coming home. Class of 2024, I wish each and every single one of you the best of luck in your future endeavors. I will forever hold these past 4 years near and dear to my heart, and I hope you all do the same. Remember why you started this career, and finally, trust the process, build your character, and love yourself, even when it's hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. At this time, we will recognize our graduates who have attained Master of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Will the candidates for master's degree from the School of Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Sciences please rise? President Singer, as the Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, I am pleased to present to you these candidates who have fulfilled all their master's degree requirements as prescribed by the faculty. School Marshal Etrib Hathout, please lead the candidates to the platform so that they all may receive recognition for their academic achievement.
For those who have successfully completed all degree requirements, by the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York and the Board of Regents, I confer on each of you the appropriate master's degree with all the rights and privileges which pertain to that degree here and elsewhere.
Joseph Daniel Baldassari. Emma Grace DeYoung. Stephen Brandon Torres. Nagashri Fota. Isabel Margaret Legasby Blair.
Tough job. It's the first of 9 ceremonies, and I've already messed up.
President Stinger, as the Dean of the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, I am honored
to present to you. So let's do it again. You gotta come on up again. Could we do that again? No. For those who've successfully completed all the degree requirements by the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York and the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York, I confer on each of you the appropriate master's degree with all the rights and privileges which pertain to that degree here and elsewhere. On behalf of the Binghamton University community, I congratulate you for this well-earned accomplishment.
So at this time, we will recognize our graduates who have attained Doctor of Pharmacy degrees, one of the highest degrees conferred by the university. Will the candidates for Doctor of Pharmacy please raise? President Stringer, as the Dean of School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, I have the honor to present to you these scholars, all of whom have devoted themselves to the rigorous pursuit of advanced study and have obtained the highest degree in their discipline awarded by this university.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York and the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Pharmacy. In accordance with the custom, you are entitled to all the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree here and elsewhere. In token thereof, we will award you a diploma and invest you with the appropriate hood for your degree.
Will Student Marshal Shannon Gallo, Eric Smith, Brady Wichensky, please lead the Doctor of Pharmacy candidates to platform to be hooded by the faculty selected by our students.
Dr. Shannon Gallo. Dr. Eric Smith. Dr. Brady Wisniewski. Dr. Zachary Tyler Abe. Dr. Nanaya Tachia Afre. Dr. Nana Akuya Ajiman. Dr. Onyinyechi Akatubi. Dr. Zara Ali. Dr. Chiamaka Anedu. Dr. Alyssa Pauline Augenblick. Dr. Haitham Avdel. Dr. Yanira Baraza. Dr. Alexa Madison Baum. Dr. Irina Boot. Dr. Matthew Chin. Dr. Danielle Datler. Dr. Madison Lindsay DeStefano. Dr. Emma Draper. Dr. Abigail Grace Durand. Dr. Michael Ama Ifa. Dr. Richard Felber. Dr. Megan Elizabeth Gray. Dr. Dana Guccione. Dr. Kayla Diane Helfeld. Dr. Bryce Richard Heller. Dr. Gordon Huang. Dr. Carissa Hurd. Dr. Eshraq Islam. Dr. Lucille Jean-Gilles. Dr. Brittany Jankowski. Dr. Adam Casper. Dr. Jasmine Kaur. Dr. Prabjit Kaur. Dr. Ryan Kendra. Dr. Brett Krummenacker. Dr. Kimberly Danielle Lawton. Dr. Melinda Cheryl Lee. Dr. May Lee. Dr. Alvin Lin. Dr. Antonietta Macri. Dr. Jordan Major. Dr. Luis Midense Barbour. Dr. Jongsu Masivis. Dr. Nicole Marie Moravec. Dr. Sayara Moomin. Dr. Hamda Nadeem. Dr. Matthew Nunez. Dr. Alexandria Ocker. Dr. Caroline A. Odago. Dr. Edison Ospina Sanchez. Dr. Erica Pedersini. Dr. Benjamin Policriti. Dr. Sophie Portnoy. Dr. Cedric D. Price. Dr. Paul Puccio, Jr. Dr. Haojuan Chen. Dr. Custodia Quason. Dr. Parisha Rashid. Dr. Michael William Reaver. Dr. Amer Reyes. Dr. Brendan Savage. Dr. Sierra Sherling. Dr. Kiara Strong. Dr. Charles Tate. Dr. Natalie Took. Dr. Grace Vaca. Dr. Allison Van Dyke. Dr. Shravani Vanapali. Dr. Diana Vega. Dr. Sophia Ventrano. Dr. Hakam Verk. Dr. Alyssa Nicole Weibel. Dr. Jordan Watson. Dr. Jessica Westerman. Dr. Hannah Wyrock. Dr. Samantha Woods. Dr. Natalie Rose Young. Dr. Zoe Zagoria.
You don't want to keep standing there all day. On behalf of the entire Binghamton University community, I congratulate you, the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences class of 2024. on this hard-earned achievement, and welcome to the Universal Company of Scholars. Congratulations. Your turn.
Thank you, Harvey. Congratulations to you all one more time. Now, I would like to introduce Femi Papula, who will lead the oath of pharmacists.
All the pharmacists in the audience are welcome to stand and recite the oath of pharmacist with our students. You can find the oath on the back of the commencement program. Please say with me, I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will consider the welfare of humanity and relief of suffering my primary concerns. I will promote inclusion, embrace diversity, and advocate for justice to advance health equity. I will apply my knowledge, experience, and skills to the best of my ability to assure optimal outcomes for all patients. I will respect and protect all personal and health information entrusted to me. I will accept the responsibility to improve my professional knowledge, expertise, and self-awareness. I will hold myself and my colleagues to the highest principles of our profession's moral, ethical, and legal conduct. I will embrace and advocate changes that improve patient care. I will utilize my knowledge, skills, and experience and values to prepare the next generation of pharmacists. I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public.
I would now like to ask everyone to raise as they are able. Please remove your hats as we sing the Binghamton alma mater. We invite everyone to join in singing the refrain and second verse. The lyrics may be found on the back of cover of the commencement program.
Individually for
The School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Mike. The School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences ceremony proceedings of the State University of New York at Binghamton are now concluded. We kindly ask that the audience remain seated for the academic professional. Once the academic recessional is completed, please exit as soon as you are able to allow graduates and families of the next ceremony to enter.